Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. If you don't know me yet, my name's Magan and I talk about all different kinds of true crime cases. My goal here is to spread awareness, especially to cases that didn't get enough attention to begin with, so I just started a new series where every day of the week we talk about a different kind of case and we'll go through the entire case. So today is Thriller Thursday, where we talk about unsolved cases. This week we're going to be talking about the unsolved case of the boy in the box. In 1957, a little boy was found dead in a box, and still to this day he has not been identified. Sadly, there aren't a whole lot of details to this case, but we're going to go through it all, and recently they were able to exhume his body and take a new DNA sample and send it off to a lab, I think in Europe if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was in Europe. So hopefully that will give us a lot of answers. Sorry about that, my neighbor just let their dogs out and they wreak havoc on the entire city, so they're adorable. They just do that at everything. But yeah, this case is sadly another heartbreaking one, but it's definitely one that everyone needs to hear because somebody could be out there that still knows somebody. The person that killed this little boy could still be alive out there somewhere. So it's important to get this message out there, and I really hope that if someone knows anything, please speak up. So without further ado, let's get into the case. So just to go ahead and dive right into the case, the boy in the box is an unidentified child that was found after being brutally murdered and left in a cardboard box on the side of the road in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So just a relevant fact to remember for later, the box that he was found in was found out to be a bassinet box that was bought at JCPenney. So his body was first found by a man that was checking his muskrat traps, but out of fear that the police would find him and confiscate his traps, he didn't report anything. But then a few days later, a college student spotted a rabbit running in the area, and he knew that there were traps in the area, so he stopped to investigate, and that's when he discovered the body. At first, he was reluctant to have any contact with police, but he did report what he found, and the following day, on February 26, 1957, police opened an investigation. The boy's fingerprints were taken, and police at first were optimistic that he would soon be identified. However, no one ever spoke up. He was believed to be between 3 and 7 years old, and even though he was surprisingly found cleaned and freshly groomed with a recent haircut and cut fingernails, he was also found naked, malnourished, and had multiple bruises and scars all over his body. The crime scene was combed over and over again by hundreds of officers, but all clues led nowhere. The police also distributed a post-mortem photograph of the boy as he may have looked in life in the hope it will lead to info, but to no avail. Despite their efforts throughout the years, his identity is still unknown and the case remains cold to this day. In 2016, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children released a forensic facial reconstruction of him and added him into their database. It hasn't been too long since that part happened, so hopefully some answers come about from that. Throughout the years, many tips and theories have come up in the case, but most have been dismissed after investigations. One possible theory concerns a foster home that was about 1.5 miles from the site of the body, and in 1960, Remington Bristow, an employee of the medical examiner's office, who pursued the case until his death in 1993, so for a long time, he spoke to a psychic who told him to look for a house that matched the foster home. When the psychic was brought to the site in Philadelphia, she led Bristow directly to the foster home. While at an estate sale at the foster home, Bristow discovered a bassinet similar to one sold at JCPenney, which, like I mentioned earlier, it would match the one that the boy was found in. There were also blankets hanging on the clothesline that were similar to the one the boy's body had been wrapped in, which was a plaid blanket. Bristow believed that the boy belonged to the stepmother of the man who ran the foster home and that they disposed of his body so that the stepdaughter would not be exposed as an unwed mother. Despite this possible evidence, the police were not able to find many definite links between the boy in the box and the foster family. Then in 1998, Lieutenant Tom Augustine, who was in charge of the investigation, interviewed the foster father again and the stepdaughter, whom he had surprisingly married, which kind of threw me for a loop. So yeah, they were investigated again, but nothing came out of it, and the investigation was soon closed. Another theory was brought forward in 2002 by a woman identified only as Martha. Police considered her story to be plausible, but were troubled by her testimony as she had a history of mental illness. Martha claimed that her abusive mother had purchased the boy, whose name was supposedly Jonathan, from his birth parents in the summer of 1954. She said he was subjected to extreme physical and sexual abuse for 2.5 years. She said that one evening at dinner, Jonathan threw up while eating baked beans and was beaten for it. She said that his head was slammed on the floor until he was semi-conscious. He was then given a bath and sadly I'm sure was beaten the entire time through it and soon gave in to his injuries. Those details matched information known only to police, as the coroner found that the boy's stomach contained the remains of baked beans and that his fingers were water wrinkled. Martha also said that her mother cut the boy's distinctive long hair in an effort to conceal his identity and had Martha help her get rid of him. She said as they were getting his body out of the trunk of the car, a passing motorist pulled up to see if they needed help. Martha was told to stand in front of the car's license plate to shield it from view while the mother tried to get rid of him. The motorist soon left, but this story corroborated confidential testimony given by a witness back in 1957, who said that the body had been placed in a box previously discarded at the scene. Sadly, despite her confession being plausible, police were unable to verify her story. But I just can't help but think that if she wasn't talking about the same boy that they found, then who was she talking about? Because I don't think she was insane. I think she was reliving real trauma, something that she actually witnessed, but they didn't believe her. So if it wasn't this little boy, who was that woman talking about? But yeah, they basically dismissed everything because neighbors of hers at the time said that there had never been a young boy living there, and they dismissed her claims as ridiculous. So sadly, there have never been any new leads, and he still remains unidentified. In 1998, his body was exhumed to be able to extract DNA, which was obtained from enamel on a tooth. He was reburied at Ivy Hill Cemetery in Cedarbrook, Philadelphia, which donated a large plot. The coffin, headstone, and funeral service was donated by the son of the man who had buried the boy in 1957. There was significant public attendance and media coverage at the reburial, and the grave has a large headstone with the words, "America's Unknown Child." City residents keep the grave decorated with flowers and toys. It's honestly shocking and quite heartbreaking that this case has been open since long before I was born, but I truly hope I'm able to see this case solved in my lifetime. At this point, the whole world just wants to know who this little boy is. He deserves to have his name on his tombstone, so please, if you have any information or know anything at all, please report it. Thank you so much for watching. It truly means a lot because every bit of awareness matters. Not only the fact that someone was able to do this to this little boy, but the fact that they got away with it for so long, probably forever, because hell, who knows if they're even still alive, that infuriates me and breaks my heart that they possibly completely got away with it. But there's still hope. That person could still be out there, and if you know anything at all, please speak up. Hopefully they're able to get some information soon, but right now they are getting closer than they ever have before. Hopefully with the new research they're able to do now, they'll be able to find some kind of information, maybe even a relative that's still alive today. Again, if you know anything at all, please report it. Thank you all so much again for tuning in and listening to the story. I truly appreciate all of you, and I really hope you reach out to me if you need anything at all. Seriously, whether you're in a bad situation, maybe you just need a listening ear, or anything at all, my email's in the description. Please reach out to me because I will do anything at all I can to help. Also, if you guys just have a case you want me to talk about, feel free to email me about that as well, and I will definitely cover that. I hope you all have a great rest of your day and an even better weekend. Thank you all so much for your continued support. I love you all so much. You guys stay safe out there, always stay aware of your surroundings, and always keep an eye out for one another. And please, please never hesitate to report something. If you see anyone at all, especially a child, getting abused, please speak up about it and report it. Please don't let it continue. Let's stick together, guys, and at least make a change in someone's life.